Thought Bubble Audio.
Look, up in the sky!
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Welcome to Beer with Geeks with Tim and Frank.
Who are you?
I'm Batman.
I am Iron Man.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Hi, Christopher. I'm Nero.
My name is Inigo Montoya.
You're a wizard, Harry.
A couple of guys with a couple of beers and a whole lot of pop culture nostalgia.
Make it so, number one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
Named the dog Indiana.
Life finds a way.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Now sit back and crack open a cold one, because it's time for Beer with Geeks.
It comes in paints?
Shaken, not stirred.
Great Scott!
I was way off. I knew it started with an S, though.
Hi, and welcome to Beer with Geeks, where two geeks geek out with beer. I'm Tim, and with me, as always, is my man who quit his job and is about to take an exit interview. It's Frank. How are you today? That's right. You heard it here first. It's Frank's last episode with Beer with Geeks.
Oh, no. That's not
even remotely close to being true.
No, I'm sticking around. Where would I go? What else would I do? This is it. This is what I do.
I mean, you've had many other podcasts in the past, some very successful ones with and without me.
True.
I have no doubt that if you decided to leave this show, that you would find brand new, wonderful horizons. But honestly, I this is not how I foresaw it ending. You know?
Yeah, no.
This is a bad breakup. Like, you could at least told me in person. You know.
No, the show is not ending. I am not leaving. None of that is happening. But I'm very happy to see you and excited to. I think we're gonna have a fun discussion today.
I think so too.
But I would love to hear what you're drinking.
I'm drinking something totally new for me, and totally new is I've never had it before, which is what totally new means.
That is what that means.
But I have had sips of it previous to us recording, so I do know what it tastes like already.
Okay,
it's from two Pitchers Brewing. Pitchers like a pitcher of beer, or like a baseball pitcher. Yep. It is called a Radler.
Oh yeah,
you know the Radler. The good.
I know what a Radler is. Yeah.
Okay. Well, their Radler is a lager with grapefruit with a hint of blood orange. It's got
grapefruit
this
Radler
unicycle guy.
Look at that guy
riding a unicycle with a grapefruit with a grapefruit wheel holding a blood orange.
Look at that. That actually sounds like a very nice combination.
It said, per the can,
yes,
this blend of lager, grapefruit juice, and a hint of blood orange is pure sunshine in a can. Bask in the glow, friends. Prost. It is really good. Like really top notch. Would buy again.
Nice.
When I say that, actually have to remember it, so I do get it again.
How grapefruity are we?
It's really grapefruit.
Okay, then that's not for me.
Okay,
I don't like grapefruit.
Okay, then definitely don't get it because I'm basically drinking grapefruit juice that is a beer.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I've had lemon Radlers, like those. I've enjoyed quite a bit. But yeah, I imagine if the grapefruit is as strong as the lemon is in one of those, then it's probably not for me. But
it's a lot of grapefruit with
the blood orange is a
hint of blood orange.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, interesting, very interesting. Yeah, never seen that before. And I don't know that brewery either, so interested to check them out.
Pitchers Brewery is established in the Bay Area.
Okay.
Go explore, easy drinking. So there you
nice.
go.
Okay, so West Coast, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
What about you?
I'm drinking something different for this show, which is milk. Milk with Geeks. No, but I actually give up alcohol for Lent. So
good for you.
I am enjoying my go-to when I'm not drinking a beer, which is Coca-Cola Zero Sugar.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
I actually really like Coke Zero. I'm diabetic. I can't really drink regular Coke without some consequences. So it's either Diet Coke or Coke Zero, and I really like Coke Zero because it tastes more like regular Coke. Diet Coke is its own flavor.
Right. I prefer the Diet Coke flavor.
Many people do. Many people like Diet Coke for its own sake.
Mm-hmm.
I am always trying to get the taste of regular Coke, but without as many of the health drawbacks.
Right on.
And please don't come at me, folks, with the what artificial sweeteners will do. I don't fine. But it's not going to.
That whichever one you're drinking, artificial or regular, is not good. So you're just making that choice.
It's just a choice. Yeah.
The beer isn't good either.
Exactly.
I can't pretend I'm getting vitamins from this grape.
This is not. I'm not drinking it for my health. I'm drinking it to enjoy it. And so, I am enjoying it in one of my original 1977 Burger King Star Wars classes.
Excellent. I love the Star Wars. This is my favorite one with R2 and C-3PO. I think
it's mine too. The Luke one is a little.
It's
weird.
okay. Yeah, it's a little weird.
This is nice. I like this one a lot. Yeah.
You know why though? Because they're non-human, right? They're not human. So like the artist's interpretation is, you don't have to worry about it the same way.
True.
Even if they were humanoid, but it was like a character like Superman, where it's like, here's this generically good-looking man with a good chin and some dark hair. It's not the same as you going, that's not Mark Hamill.
Right. That's it. Yeah.
Which is why a lot of Star Wars stuff you see, like the droids and Darth Vader, like early stuff.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about drawing Harrison Ford.
That's true. That's true. That's a reliable. Yeah. Good point. Speaking of Harrison Ford, real quick aside, Shrinking season 2, fantastic. Or Shrinking season 2, 3, whatever it is, fantastic. Are you current on it?
No. So you said what you give up for Lent, and so my wife and I together give up what we watch on TV for Lent.
Gotcha.
So we don't. I don't necessarily give up TV necessarily. So like I'll still watch what I'm watching, the stuff that I watch without her, but we watch mostly everything together.
Sure.
And so anything that we're in the middle of, Gilmore Girls, Shrinking, All Creatures Great and Small, like whatever it is, we don't touch it for Lent.
Got it. I like that. That's a good one. That's a good one.
It's tough when you're in the middle of a season.
I'm sure it is.
You want to know what happens, and like Shrinking just started.
Right.
I was like 3 episodes in, and now I'm like, all right, I'll see you in 6 weeks.
Sure.
Yeah. Right. It's
tough. That's a tough one.
That one's a tough one.
Yeah. Well, there's a fun moment to look forward to where Harrison Ford will hum the Indiana Jones theme.
I did see that one already.
Okay, cool.
Yes,
cool.
I did. Think that was I think that was the third.
Was it? I don't remember. Okay. So you made it right under the gun. Oh, such a fun moment.
I love that he loves Indiana Jones enough to be like, yeah, this one I'll do.
Yeah.
I may not do Star Wars, but I'll do this one.
Right. Exactly. I love this era of Harrison Ford. He's actually very fun.
Yep. 83-year-old Harrison. I mean, Harrison Ford rarely gave a flying anything about anything.
Right.
But I feel like it's even like more so now.
Oh, yeah.
Like anything he actually did care about a little bit, whatever, man. I mean,
he is on a trajectory to only become more like himself. You know what I mean? Like that only goes in one direction.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we have we've been talking about the fact that Star Wars and like Lucasfilm is going to be in new hands because Kathleen Kennedy is retiring or whatever, stepping away. And we did talk a little bit about Dave Filoni taking over in the creative capacity. But I thought that it would be fun to do, in corporate America. I've worked in corporate America my pretty much my whole career, and a common thing to do when someone's leaving a job is an exit interview, right? Let's talk about what went well, what didn't go well, and sort of a postmortem on your time here. So I thought a Kathleen Kennedy exit interview.
So pro tip for don't ever call it a postmortem in the exit interview, though.
True. Very true.
Yeah.
So I thought we'd do a Galactic performance review for Kathleen Kennedy. And do this. I've put together this little scorecard if you're watching on video where we'll score her performance. The first aspect of her time that I want to look at is franchise stewardship and sort of the cohesion of the franchise, because I think this was very middle of the road. I think that like there's a lot of meandering and in terms of cohesion, like just the way that the sequel trilogy was made was not very cohesive.
So when you say cohesion, do you mean telling like one long story, or
I mean, even just things fitting together, like sticks going together.
Not like MCU cohesion. Just
no, I mean that's a whole other. Yeah, no.
Okay.
Just like are these?
Go ahead.
Do these things feel like they belong together? Do they go together?
All right. Because what are the things that have fallen under her stewardship? There have been the 3 sequel films.
Yep.
Solo, Rogue One,
and then a whole mess of Disney Plus.
Yep, which are important to throw, like the Mandalorian,
huge,
Ahsoka,
Andor, Skeleton Crew, Acolyte,
Clone Wars season 7, The Bad Batch, Star Wars Visions, Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Underworld,
etc.
There's actually quite. I'm sure we missed something in there.
It's a lot of output. It is a lot of output.
Tons of output.
Yeah.
I think that the Disney Plus side of the stewardship is much stronger.
Well, we'll get there. We'll get there. Disney Plus is a category of all its own.
Okay, right.
But just in general, like vibes overall.
Vibes 6. Okay,
let's go with 6.
Yeah, I think I think that the lack of a plan.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Is so evident early on, and I think it fixes itself later, which is why I say 6.
Okay,
by fix itself, I mean like it's much more. Seasons have plans.
Yeah, right,
like,
right.
Whatever. So yeah, I'd say 6.
All right, I think that's pretty fair. Film strategy and follow through. So here, okay, film strategy, we talked about there not really being a strategy, a plan for the sequel trilogy. Follow through, there were a lot of films that were announced and never got made. There was the Patty Jenkins, there was the Rian Johnson trilogy, there was the
Taika films,
the James Game of Thrones guys.
Yep.
Mangold.
There's probably more.
Like there were lots that were announced, and it a lot of them coincided with either a fan event like a D23 or an investor event where they wanted the stock price to benefit from it.
Well, that's the Marvelization of Hollywood, right? Where they're like, here are the things that are coming up. Invest your money now, right? And then they change things because that's what Hollywood has always done. They've always changed things. Like think about like if they, I don't know, had announced. Oh, now I was going to say Tim Burton Superman, but they did kind of announce that one. We knew about that one, but there's lots of stuff that like never really like gets pretty far and never comes to fruition. Before Marvel, we would never really hear about that stuff. And then like 10 years later, you'd be like, oh, did you hear they almost made this movie? And you're like, what? Crazy. Now that it's out in the open in public, I think it's more important to not just announce stuff.
Yeah.
And if you do, you got to follow through with some of it.
Exactly.
Because it's a bad look. So I'm going to say 4.5.
Yeah, I think that's fair, really. Like there was not great follow through. So many of those projects never happened. And I think that I agree with you. Now that these things are happening more in the open, you have to be more judicious about them.
Yeah. Especially the strategy. Like follow through one thing, like sometimes stuff gets canceled, people move on, whatever. I totally understand that side of it. But if you don't have a strategy, especially for that sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
No.
They whiffed on that one, I think. Okay, here's Disney Plus era execution. So I'm sorry to interrupt you before. I wanted to make sure we
of course
captured it here. So like, what you felt like that was stronger than the film side of things. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, The Mandalorian is almost single-handedly responsible for Disney Plus being a thing.
Baby Yoda alone, right? Like,
right? Like
the whole streaming service rests on his tiny shoulders.
And I think within the streaming service, this new era of Lucasfilm really found what was working for them, like what really worked. And then as far as the strategy is concerned, there really is like a okay, what is happening 5 years post Return of the Jedi? Let's explore that over the course of several different shows. Boba Fett, I knew we missed one.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Over the course of several different shows with, like great to middling to mediocre success, but that's everything.
Yeah.
Like you can't say that not all Star Wars is perfect either, like before the Disney era. So I'm going to be really generous and say 8.
Wow, that's very generous.
I think there's way more positive Disney Plus content than negative. Like The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I like Ahsoka. Tales of the Jedi. Tales of the Underworld. It's Clone Wars Season 7. Andor.
Yeah.
Like those are all really those are all good things.
Even things like this, like Skeleton Crew, but this is where the execution matters, right? Because Skeleton Crew is I think a good show, but I also think that if that show was announced and came out in like 2019 when The Mandalorian came out, I think it would have gotten much more buzz and much more excitement because, like, oh my God, there's a Star Wars TV show and Jude Law is in it, and it's Goonies in space. Like, this sounds fantastic. And really, it was quite good. I thought. I think that it had a lot going against it because we had the Acolyte right before that. We had like a lot of negative momentum that was getting in its way, and similar for Solo, but that's not Disney Plus, so I guess we don't need to touch on that right now. I think that there were even things like that where the product itself was good, but the execution was the problem. So there is, I agree. I think there's more positive than negative in the Disney Plus era.
Right. And I think like a lot going further past Skeleton Crew, which is a great example of something really good that comes out at a wrong time.
Yeah.
You have something like the Acolyte that is supposed to be a support pillar and completely falters and falls apart.
Flops. Yeah.
So hard. So for that, like, do you want to go down a degree? Do you want to say 7, like 7.5?
7.5. How about we meet in the middle?
Sure. Okay. That would be fine. Yeah, because I don't want to be the one ranking all the numbers here.
Sure.
Yeah.
Creative risk versus discipline. So, like, she took creative risks, like giving a show to Tony Gilroy, who's not really a Star Wars fan, and letting him cook, right?
Yep.
With Andor. She took risks with bringing in different directors and creators, like going to Rian Johnson, going for a time to Josh Trank, or Colin Trevorrow, or Leslie Headland in the case of the Acolyte. Not all of those risks paid off, but she took those risks. She took creative risks. And then there were places where I think, honestly, Leslie Headland is more of a place where I think she maybe needed to have more discipline, where that was a very indulgent, like, let's make the Leslie Headland Star Wars show. You just go nuts. Like famously the feedback that Kathy gave her when she pitched the show was like, this is great, but now let's make it more of a Leslie Headland show. And I'm not so sure that was really the right call.
No, but I can understand why she did make that call, right?
I understand the instinct.
Yep.
But I think it was ultimately the wrong call. So I think that some more creative discipline in terms of, like, actually maybe you shouldn't go nuts, because, like, even creators who I wouldn't let Guillermo del Toro go nuts on Star Wars because it wouldn't look like Star Wars. Like, it would be more like a Star Wars graphic novel or something, like, but it wouldn't. I would want even a creator who I love to stay within certain limits, within certain bounds, right? Taika Waititi directed some episodes of I don't know, one of the shows, maybe Mando, and, like, he stayed within Star Wars limits. He didn't just go like, all right, well, this is going to be what we do in the Shadows Star Wars edition, right? Like, there is discipline you need, creative discipline you need to have. Where did she show that and not show that? I think she lacked some discipline in a lot of the hiring decisions and a lot of the, we're going to do this thing because this is what's, like, sort of trend chasing, mostly in hiring decisions. I think trend chasing of, like, this is the hot new director right now, so we're going to announce we're making a film with them, and then 6 months later we don't do it.
Sure. I think like Taika Waititi is a great example of that, right?
Yeah.
You know,
he made the 4 films. Okay, great. Like, we want some Love and Thunder too.
Yep. And then, but I mean, he directed episodes of The Mandalorian.
Yep.
And he very much stayed within the Star Wars bounds. And
he can do
it. Now, I guess did the creative risk pay off is the question.
Right. Many did, some didn't.
Would we say the creative risk paid off more or the discipline paid off more?
I think I give this like a 6.
Yeah, right. I'm very comfortable with that.
Okay. I think it's like a little better than average, but only slightly.
Mm-hmm.
Talent management, this is where I don't think she did a very good job. Because
historically, not great.
A lot of people cycled like revolving door of people who were attached to projects. Like, not just, obviously you're talking to people all the time and you're people come and go, but attached to projects that never end up happening. That happened a lot. And
projects that were happening that then they got replaced too.
Gareth Edwards, Lord and Miller. Yes.
Yeah. And then was earlier too. I think she got better at it as it went on. Again, like there's something very magical or there's a huge shift at the Disney Plus era where you don't see you're not seeing a lot of people exiting and leaving the same way. It really is more consistent, but it's also drawing on known quantities.
Yeah.
Like Dave Filoni's not going anywhere. It's Star Wars, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's good for it.
This is what he does.
Exactly. So I'm going to say 4.
That's where I was going to say. Yeah. I think 4. Fan trust trajectory.
It's not great, Frank. I'm not going to lie to you.
I don't think it's great. I think that there is a lot of like, again, they sort of getting jerked around by like, it's okay, a Patty Jenkins movie, but is that really happening? Like, I don't know. It's like, what TV movie is going to happen? Yeah, we'll see.
Not even that, but like when the product comes out, is it worth your? Honestly, I think the fan trust trajectory just goes down, starting at The Force Awakens.
Mm-hmm. That's at the height, I think, and then it kind of just goes down from there.
It goes straight down.
Maybe you see a go back up for the Mandalorian season 1. You know, like okay, things are picking up, and then it kind of goes back down after that. When 2 weeks later, the Rise of Skywalker comes out.
Right. Right. Yeah, I would say a 3.
Yeah,
this is the lowest. This is the lowest one.
This is the lowest one for me.
And I mean, it's not all on her. The Star Wars fan base is notoriously awful.
It's not like the Star Wars fan base is fair all the time.
No, not it's got a very large opinion about a lot of things that it doesn't understand.
Right. That's right.
But I don't think that they helped their case.
Exactly.
You know, exactly. I just there's a difference between people going, I don't know, and then you winning them over, and then eventually people just going, I don't know, because even I, as someone who says like I enjoy more of the Disney era or the Kathleen Kennedy era of Star Wars than I didn't. Like there's more of it that I like than not. I still every time go, I don't know.
Yeah, right.
And that's not great.
I'm not used to that. I was just telling someone, remember, I think it was when The Last Jedi came out. Do you remember that you and I both saw it at our respective homes at like screenings that were at virtually the same time? Mm-hmm. And we called each other on the phone as we were driving home from the movie. And we were both like, I don't know if I like that.
Yep.
I don't know how I feel. I have complicated feelings about that movie. And I think we were both like, I'm not used to feeling that way about a Star Wars movie.
I shouldn't have complicated feelings about it. It's like Star Wars isn't that complicated.
Right.
Like I think that's part of where the trust has gone downhill in some of the creative decisions where sometimes you make Star Wars more complicated than it really is.
Yeah.
And Star Wars is for kids. And so don't add too many different ingredients to the pot.
True. Yeah. Yeah. So the fan trust has not been at an all-time high during the Disney era, the Kennedy era, unfortunately. So yeah, 3 out of 10 for that one. I think seems right. Feels right to me. This is something I'm making up, a term I'm coining, but like eventization, like turning things into big events. We got big events like with must-watch energy. Force Awakens, undoubtedly one of those, right? No question. It was what everyone was talking about, and that's what I'm talking about. Moments like that where it's like, wow, Star Wars was everywhere in pop culture. It happened for the Force Awakens. It happened with Grogu, when he was still Baby Yoda. I think that might be it. Those are two very big seismic things that happened, right? That happened within 10 years of each other.
Yeah.
Within 3 years of each other. Hell. So like two very big moments close together. How does that compare to over the course of 12 or 13 years? How do you think we did in terms of Star Wars having these big pop culture moments?
Now, that's a tough question because, like, for myself, every Star Wars anything is kind of an event. You're like, yeah, more Star Wars. Here we go, baby. We're doing it. But if you're looking at it from the idea of like, have you affected pop culture by this thing coming out, which is a hard thing to do. Even Marvel doesn't not every movie affects pop culture.
That's right.
That way, you could argue that Iron Man did. Skip to the Avengers.
Sure.
Skip to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe even skip to Infinity War.
And then from there, honestly, yeah, I think skip to Infinity War from there. Not that the other movies didn't do well or make a lot of money, but the we're all talking about it energy. I don't know. I think to have two of them in your tenure.
Yeah.
Like with the amount of products you're putting out. Like I said, Mandalorian basically launched Disney Plus. Like it made it its thing. This was the flagship show. I don't know. Is it too generous to say 7?
No, 7 is exactly where I land.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I think that's right. It's not all the way to a 10, but like two big moments that are 3 years apart, 4 years apart. That's something. Yes, launching a whole streaming service basically off the back of this show. Yeah, I agree. I think 7 is where it's at. Last one, and this one is, I mean, we're kind of future casting here, but like what's the legacy of this era? What are the things that are going to stick around that are still going to have impact years down the road? Obviously, the sequel trilogy will have impact on the franchise for years to come. Obviously, the existence of Baby Yoda and of the Mandalorian is going to have impact. The Ahsoka series, and we didn't mention Kenobi. I think that's one we didn't.
That's right. I knew there was another one. Yeah.
But there are lots of things that are going to have, 5 or 10 years from now will still be relevant and still have impact on Star Wars. And those are things that happened during the Kennedy era. What would you rate the durability of the Kennedy era legacy?
Well, I think by the very nature of them putting out a sequel trilogy and everything kind of has to build from that alone, whether it was good or bad, you're building, like, you're not wiping that out. Star Wars is not built on reboots.
Yeah.
Like you have to kind of roll with the decision. And you've now got two main eras that you're dealing with, whether it's the sequel trilogy and then the 5+ years after Return of the Jedi. 6.5. I think, like, whether the legacy is good or bad is not relevant.
Right.
It's
a lasting legacy, not about how good or bad it is. Right.
Yeah. I don't think this era will be forgotten. Oh, that does seem high when you think about, because there's so much content. There's like Skeleton Crew is not going to be remembered.
No, I don't think so. I don't think Bad Batch is going to be remembered.
No, I didn't. That's like the only Star Wars I never finished was Bad Batch. I don't know. Maybe 6.
I'm fine with either. If you want to give it the extra half point, that's fine with me. But
you know what? Leave it. Yeah, leave it. I'll
somewhere
be
around there.
Slightly generous. We weren't super generous in the first place.
It's true.
So.
It's true.
All right, what's that?
Let's reveal the final grade. Let's see what
Yeah.
she gets. Oh, she gets an F.
Yeah.
It's a 5.6 out of 10 on average, or 44.5 out of a possible 80 points.
Not great.
Not
scaling. We're scaling. No, we're not scaling. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Disney Plus era execution was highest at 7.5. It's the fan trust that really killed her.
Yeah.
At a 3.
And honestly, that feels right for what looking at this, the strongest and the weakest, right? The highest highs, I think, of this era were the Disney Plus highs, and the lowest lows were the fan trust lows. So this actually feels like a pretty representative. Actually, no, I take that back. It's very scientific. It's 100% scientific, and we can't change it. It's immutable.
Can't change it.
It's just science.
It's funny because we're not the pessimistic like Star Wars fans that exist out there, and if we're saying like you done hurt me big early on, and I haven't recovered from that, that says a lot about how people who are a lot less merciful than we are.
Yes, and it's too bad. I don't want to I actually, when I designed this exercise, thought I would end up at like, oh, it's going to be like a B or a C. But when I really sit down and do it, it's like, actually, it is an F. And when I look at each individual grade, I'm like, I do stand by them.
Mm-hmm.
So, like in my mind, like vibes, I'm like, it's like a C. It's like fine. It's middle of the road. But like, when I really look on every aspect,
yeah, it has not
great.
No, I guess it's technically middle of the road if you're doing like the 44 out of 80. If you look at it from just that perspective.
Sure. Yes, it is middle of the road.
It is middle of the road.
But slightly above middle, even.
Yeah, if you're doing it on a real grade scale, though, real grade, no.
Not good.
No,
yeah.
it has not been
5.6 out of 10, 56 out of 100. Like, that's not a good grade.
No.
Yeah. So,
well,
unfortunately.
What are you going to do, though? You know, it's around. I was actually just talking to a colleague today about the sequel trilogy. It's funny that we were doing this, and he's much younger than I am, and he was like, "Yeah, I used to do Star Wars rewatches in college and all this stuff, and like my roommate and I would like rewatch them all every year, and the sequel trilogy is the only trilogy that I get angrier every time I watch it."
Wow.
Yep.
That's saying something. Wow.
Yep. And he is like, and he's talking about Force Awakens. He's not even talking about like Last Jedi or Rise of Skywalker.
Wow.
Yeah. Although Rise of Skywalker is definitely the other one, but he was like, I kind of like Last Jedi because at least they did something different.
Sure.
But yeah, it was just, I get less angry now because I'm like, well, it's in the past.
Right.
Whatever.
Right. Yeah.
You know, but, yeah, not great. Sorry, Kathleen. I'm sure you're a lovely person.
Oh yeah. No, nothing personal at all. I think a lot of people do have a personal axe to grind with her, which I don't.
No, man.
And I feel kind of bad that this landed at such a low grade as it did, because like I don't want to pile on, and I think a lot of the criticism leveled against her is totally unfair, but and is weirdly personal, unnecessarily personal. But when I look at it sort of as clearly and as objective as something like this can be, which it's not, except for the fact that it's very scientific. When I look at it that way, the results are what they are. So, yeah. Well, on that happy note, on that cheerful, chipper note, if you want to hear us talk about other exciting, happy things with Star Wars, you can look through our archives at beerwithgeeks.com, and rate and review the show and subscribe. And follow us. You can support us on patreon.com/thoughtbubbleaudio. I think those are, did I skip one? No, I think those are the things.
Truthfully, I blank out every time you do that. So I have no idea. You could pitch and plug an entire different show and I might not notice. Try it one time. See what happens.
I should try it sometime. Yeah.
Yep. Well, Frank, it was a pleasure to talk to you, even if it was in a disparaging kind of way. I'm glad you're sticking around and you're not actually quitting the show. And this was not your exit interview.
Nope.
At all. Your moratorium on yourself or whatever you called it. So, but either way, until next time, cheers.
Cheers.